Thank you.
Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last week, longtime planning board member Chaz Dowdy resigned from the planning board. Chaz has served on the planning board for many years, but his involvement in town goes far beyond that. He was a member of the Conservation Commission, Master Planning Committee, Master Plan Implementation Committee, and the Community Preservation Committee, to name a few. Chaz is the kind of person who is passionate about the town he lives in and is always willing to step up and help. I'm personally grateful to Chaz, and I know that I speak for the entire town when I thank him for his service. We've advertised the vacancy last week, and we'll accept letter of interest from folks that want to fill that vacancy until December 30th at 4 p.m. That would be a dual appointment of the select board and the planning board, and whoever you collectively appoint would be entitled to serve until the next town election, at which point anybody that was appointed would have to run. So you're only filling it for a short period of time. So I believe that we'll have a joint meeting with the planning board on January 5th, and we'll go from there. A reminder to residents that it's time to register your dogs. Tyngsborough's bylaws require that all dogs in town be registered with the town clerk's office. On top of this being a way for us to ensure that all dogs are up to date on their rabies, registering your dog also ensures that if your dog performs the Great Escape and finds itself in our custody, we know who to connect to get it home. Registration can be done online now at tyngsboroughma.gov or in person at the town clerk's office. The deadline to register is March 1st, and once you miss the deadline, there's a late fee assessed. Our work to address the challenge facing us on the health insurance front began last week with an initial consult with a private health insurance consultant who's going to work with the town and our employees to identify ways to minimize what we expect will be a very large increase in our health insurance rates for fiscal year 27. They'll also help us see what our options are long term. We're kind of looking at this from two approaches. One is what can we do to mitigate the immediate impact of fiscal year 27, but then also beyond that, what can we do long term that maybe we don't have time to implement for next year. So that work has begun. We're going to be meeting with the different union representatives in the next couple of weeks to get their perspective on what they would be interested in seeing in terms of plan changes. And hopefully, by the time the rates are finalized at the end of January, we'll have a few options to talk about with the board. For the first pass of the budget that you'll see at the beginning of January, we're assuming the worst case scenario is 25%, but we've been told the range is anywhere between 20 and 25. On that note, department requests for fiscal year 27 were due last week, and we've begun budget review meetings with department heads. We have a few more scheduled for the remainder of this week and early next week, but remain on track to present our first draft budget to the select board at its meeting on January 5th. 2 weeks ago, Chief Woods, DPW Superintendent Zwicker, and I met with the District 4 Director for MassDOT, as well as several of their engineers, to talk about ways that we can improve traffic around the cannabis retailers on Middlesex Road. We have some options, including a unique opportunity to make broader safety improvements to the entire stretch of Middlesex Road between Locust and the Edge District, what we formerly called 440. We have a meeting scheduled on Monday with the cannabis dispensaries to see what level of interest they have in the two different options. And then hopefully early next year, we have a path forward. The state was incredibly willing to work with us. I know this is a twist for me. I'm complimenting them. So I'm confident that we'll find a solution, hopefully to our broader Middlesex Road issue in short time. The Sustainability Committee has launched a 3-part workshop series using a grant from the Massachusetts Cultural Council called Roots of Resilience. The series will invite local residents and industry experts to explore practical steps that we can take to strengthen the community's resilience together. The first installment will be on Saturday, January 17th at 10:30 a.m. and is entitled A Fireside Chat with Local Farmers. The following 2 sessions are February 28th and March 21st, both at 10:30, and all 3 will take place at the Center for Active Living. You can visit tyngsboroughma.gov for all of the details. On a staffing front, last week, Director of People and Culture Bridget Bell tendered her resignation effective the end of the month. Bridget joined the town in 2017 as our first HR coordinator and spent the following 7 years building an HR operation from the ground up. She's developed positive relationships with staff across town government, including the Tyngsborough Public Schools, and leaves the office in a much better place than she found it. I'm working with Bridget right now on transition, and I expect to have an update on that at the Select Board's next meeting. Join me in thanking Bridget for her hard work and wishing her the best in her next chapter. Today, Alexander Rudowicz started in the Department of Public Works, the Highway Division, as our newest skilled laborer. Alec is a Tyngsborough resident and a member of the New Hampshire National Army Guard, where he currently serves as a heavy operator, and we're excited to have him on the team. He started today, fits in great with the staff, and there's certainly plenty of work to keep him busy. Last week, Amanda Kinney joined our team as the new administrative assistant in the health department. Ms. Kinney comes to us from McLean Hospital, where she served as the executive assistant to the chief medical officer. Ms. Kinney was selected after 2 rounds of interviews and is also a Tyngsborough resident. And then, I'm sorry, I left this part out, and I don't know where Sean's went, but a reminder that town offices, the Center for Active Living, and the Tyngsborough Public Library will close at 2 p.m. on Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th. The Center for Active Living and the Department of Public Works will be closed on Friday, December 26th. And town offices will be open late on Monday, December 29th and Tuesday, December 30th until 5 p.m., but will close at 5 p.m. on New Year's Eve, which is Wednesday, December 31st. On New Year's Eve, there are no changes to the schedule for the Center for Active Living. And Sean, I do apologize for cutting you out.
No problem, thanks.
It's in the Word doc.
I'm pleased to report that the town has received a grant from the Massachusetts Office on Disability for $17,500 for a GIS mapped roadway, sidewalk, and curb ramp inventory. It will also allow us to integrate the inventory into the town Street Logic platform and perform analysis and reporting on the sidewalk and ramp network. You may remember we talked about this a little bit in the summer as we were going through that application process. So it took some time for them to review, but very happy to report that we received the grant. As part of the town's 2021 creation and approval of the self-evaluation and transition plan, that plan omitted these right-of-ways as part of that process. So this will allow us to fill that gap, and I expect this project to begin in the new year and be complete by mid-June. This will not only enhance our existing GIS inventory, but address any areas of need and help us also plan for any potential future grant funding opportunities. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Let's open up to the board for any questions. Person Coughlin.
Yeah, the upcoming meeting with the cannabis dispensaries, are they cooperating? Are they, on board with some of the unique opportunities that you mentioned?
So they have not heard the unique opportunities.
Okay.
Our past experience, Yellow House opened recently, so we haven't had to coordinate a similar meeting. Nature's Remedy has always been fast to sit down with us and implement some of the suggestions. So they're excited to talk about it. There was just another accident in front of 420 at the end of this past week. What I will say, I'm still waiting on a little bit of clarity from MassDOT, but there is a short-term fix, which I think is less advantageous if you're the business owner. The long-term fix may be slightly more expensive upfront, but I think has a better business edge moving forward. So I suspect that they will be. The one thing I remind the board is that under the host community agreement, you do have wide latitude to effectively manage any public safety issues. Again, Nature's Remedy and now Yellow House have always been very cooperative, so I don't suspect that you'll need to. But we do have a little bit of control if they were to, for some reason, not be cooperative.
Okay, great, thank you.
Of course.
Person Cohen.
No questions.
Person Gilfus.
You just said something that I have never considered. Is Nature's Remedy 420 Middlesex?
It is.
Okay.
I'm told that's completely by accident, by the way.
I'm looking at the camera. Okay. So a couple of things. The insurance, health insurance stuff, this is a horrible fight to fight. And so I'm glad that you guys are trying to, mitigate the impact. I would just say out loud that I hope that we are able to strike a balance between finding something that is going to be manageable from a budget perspective, but also doesn't compromise the quality of the health insurance that we provide employees. So just take that under consideration. And Sean, I'm psyched to hear about the grant, about the GIS sidewalk mapping. Is it intended to cover the entire town, or is it like we will be able to do a quarter of the town with this amount of money? Like, what are we anticipating for coverage?
The proposal we received, my understanding is that it will cover the entire town.
Awesome.
That quote we received was from over the summer, so hopefully that, remains in effect. But I expect that we'll have the entire right-of-way that was missed
Awesome.
from 2021.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Person Eldridge.
A plethora of information. So some disappointing things. I wish Chaz all the best in his now more free time. Very sad to see Bridget leave. She did a lot of great things, and it's going to be, those are some tough shoes to fill. I think Alec joining on the DPW, great kid, know him very well, have nothing but great things to say about him. I am thrilled about the discussion with MassDOT relative to Middlesex Road and what we can do there. On the health insurance, I don't know if anybody saw it, but 60 Minutes did a big thing on health insurance and some of the high cost items. Companies and municipalities that are self-insured are going to continue to have some challenges. So I think we need to look at creative ways in which we can address those types of issues, maintaining the care and the services that people need and deserve while managing some of those costs. If I look at the challenges, and we'll get into it with some of the other things when we talk about the state, if we think about where our big challenges are, it's healthcare and it's special education and dealing with the things in the school. And so I'm hopeful that we can be ahead of that curve. I know that there are going to be towns that are going to be late to the game, and they're going to struggle with it. I'm hoping. The downside to that is you've got an HR person leaving at that same time. So let us know how we can help on that. But some great things happening here, along with some of the things that are a little bit disappointing. So thank you.
Welcome. And I would share your concern, particularly with the HR person leaving, but on a flip side, perhaps a fresh set of eyes and a fresh set of ideas might be just what we need on this to kind of clear our thoughts and give us a way forward on these medical costs. So thank you.